Sandy into his windup. Here's the pitch. Swung on and missed a perfect game.
High fly ball into right field. She is gone. In a year that has been so improbable, the impossible has happened. Fernando Valenzuela has pitched a no-hitter.
Thank you, Hurst. This is a no-hitter.
It is gone. It is a walk-off home run for Justin Turner. It's over. Muncy, a walk-off home run. This is way back. Walk 'em off. Chris Taylor.
The Dodgers have made a trade. Yesterday, Elly Da La Cruz runs wild. He loves LA. Also, Shohei Otani Day. Emmett Sheehan is done for the season. All that more coming up next on a jam-packed episode of Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger baseball.
Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
Dodgers win.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball.
Grand slam. It's a double for Freddie.
They're going to make big signings. They're going to make impact trades. This is the most anticipated season in Dodgers history.
Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out. What is up, Dodgers Nation? Doug McKain here, credential member of Dodgers Media. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMac_LA. And welcome to a Friday edition of Dodgers Dugout Live. Now, if you haven't yet, do us a huge favor and join the party, trying to get to 95,000 subs. And once we get there, we're giving away a brand new authentic Dodgers number 17 Shohei Otani Road Gray. Road Gray is in right now. Yesterday, 40,000 bobbleheads. They gave away 1,750 of those were the Road Gray. Those are already hitting 1,000, 2,000 on eBay. So the Road Gray is in, and if you want to win, all you have to do is 1, be subscribed to the channel, and 2, comment GOAT Tani. GOAT Tani down below. And also, this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live is brought to you by Bet Online. Bet Online is your #1 source for all your summer sports this season, from Major League Baseball to golf to the NBA to the NHL playoffs. Get all the latest stats, news, and scores available to follow your favorite teams. Get the latest odds and lines, including the latest team matchups, player props, and odds on just about every sport out there. Head to the website today or use your mobile device to get in on the action. Bet Online, where the game starts. And of course, every episode of Dodgers Dugout Live starts with our poll question of the show. I asked you guys over on the X, how concerned are you about the Dodgers pitching injuries? And right now, 33% say very, 50% say a little, 17% say not concerned. Of course, we got news yesterday that Emmett Sheehan is done for the season. He underwent Tommy John surgery by Dr. Neil Elitrach. He's going to be out for the rest of this season in 2024. We could see him back as early as around the All-Star break in 2025. We'll talk about that in a second. And of course, you know the way this show works. It's the Friday Fun Show. I got my Friday Fun shirt on. And to my left, I got super producer Antonio. Antonio, what's up?
We got some breaking news, dude.
Breaking news.
Francis Romero. Just so you know who said it.
Francis Romero, it looks like Miguel Vargas is going to get called up.
There you go.
Breaking.
Vargas. What did we talk about on the show yesterday, right?
Thank you, Noah, for that breaking news update.
Miguel Vargas. Hey, who called on the show yesterday, though? I said Miguel Vargas, it's his time. He deserves his opportunity at over 1,000 OPS at the minor league level. So lots of breaking news here on Dodgers Dugout Live. So we'll talk about Miguel Vargas. We'll talk about a pitcher they just acquired in Anthony Banda from the Guardians. So we'll talk about that as well. Anthony Banda, I mean, this is a pitcher that's going to provide depth as a lefty reliever, someone who is not on the 40-man roster. But how about that? Miguel Vargas being called up. Did they announce the corresponding roster move? It's just that he's getting called up. So the options there are, do you option James Outman? Do you phantom IL Chris Taylor? Do you DFA Chris Taylor? So we'll wait and see what we get with that. But if you watched yesterday's show, I stood here, I made the case for Miguel Vargas. And what did I say? I said that Miguel Vargas was high on the pecking order last season. He was right there on opening day. Him and Gavin Lux were supposed to really be that keystone combination before Gavin Lux got injured. And unfortunately, it just didn't work out for Miguel Vargas. He struggled offensively, and he also struggled defensively, but he went down, he retooled that swing, he kind of got back to basics. I remember speaking to Miguel Vargas early on during spring training, and he said the big thing for him was just not thinking too much, not over analyzing his swing, and getting back to where he needed to be as a hitter. And clearly he's done that. So he's being rewarded, and he's made the most of that opportunity. Because what I said on yesterday's show was this: if the whole idea for these guys is to send them down so they can get their timing, get their confidence up, retool their swing, get things to start clicking for them, and they do, well, you have to do either two things. You got to send them up, give them their opportunity, or consider trading them, right? Because their value is going to decline. Yes, depth is always good, but the question I had is how much better can Miguel Vargas get at the minor league level, because he's continued to rake. He did it last season. He's done it this season. If you look at his numbers so far down at AAA this year, he's hitting 295 with a 436 on base. He's slugging 583. He has a 149 weighted runs created plus, so he's been 49% above league average. He's hit 8 home runs, has 38 RBI, 8 stolen bases. So I'm really excited to see what Miguel Vargas can do with this opportunity, because Miggy has now solidified himself as a corner outfielder. He doesn't give you that outfield versatility that some of these other guys do where you can plug him in center, but still, he knows now he's not going to be at second base, but he can play that position. If you need to in a pinch, he can get it done. He can play third base in a pinch, but they like him as a corner outfielder. And if you look at the season he had in 2023, he hit 288 down at AAA, had a 119 weighted runs created plus, and at the big league level, he had an 85 weighted runs created plus. So he's 15% below league average. So even Miguel Vargas at his absolute worst last season was still more productive than what we've seen from James Outman this year. So get excited. I mean, I think that's really cool to see Miguel Vargas and Andy Pages on the same team. And let's get some of this youth movement happening, because you really need to start auditioning and seeing what you can get from these outfielders for the next season. So Miguel Vargas, that is the breaking news right now. Miguel Vargas is being called up. We don't know what the corresponding move is as of yet. We are clearly going to find that out at some point today. And just a little rewind, too, on the season he had in 2023. If you remember, back early in spring training in early April, he gets hit by a pitch right on his right thumb, and he was hit there early, and then in early April, he gets hit on that thumb, right? So if you saw early in spring training in the Cactus League, he suffered that pinky injury. We had that hairline fracture in his right pinky, and the Dodgers said, you know what? We want to give him reps at second base. We want to give him those opportunities to learn that position at the big league level. So they kept him at second base, even though he was dealing with that hairline fracture in his pinky. But guess what? They didn't allow him to swing the bat in his first 6 Cactus League games, and he still walked 4 times in 12 plate appearances. Can you imagine that, Antonio? You walk 4 times in 12. Could you walk 4 times in 12 plate appearances if you can't swing the bat?
Honestly, probably not.
Antonio, where's that self-confidence that we love about you, man?
I'm just kidding. You know I can.
Antonio Taters, by the way, looking for your fire takes all day long. And then early in the season, like I said, early in April, he gets hit on the right thumb, 5th game of the regular season, and that really hurt his swings. Just talking to people around the team, that was 2 setbacks already. You had the pinky injury, you had the thumb injury, and then in May, that's when you started to see some power, and he started selling out for those power numbers. He had 4 home runs, he had 8 doubles and a triple in May, but the on base was down to 289. So I think one thing you want to see from Miguel Vargas is combine that eye, that plate awareness, that pitch recognition to take your walks, but also include that slug. Because from what we've seen from the bottom of this lineup, the 7, 8, 9 hitters, to have someone that in 1 month gave you 4 home runs, 8 doubles, and a triple, you take that right about now. Because Miggy Varg has one of the best tools that we've seen coming out of the minor league level in quite some time. Let's not forget, he was supposed to be the guy next season and last season, and the Dodgers, they really need help in the bottom of that lineup. Because if you look at the Dodgers team offense right now, 124 weighted runs created plus, that's first in baseball. A 260 batting average, that's first. 59 bombs, that's third. A 22% strikeout rate, that's 18th, which is good. The higher your number there is, the better. And when it comes to walking, it's at 10.6%. That's their walk rate. That's first in the league, a 12.2 F4. So collectively, the Dodgers have the best offense in baseball, but a lot of that production comes from the MV3. Mookie, Shohei, and Freddie Freeman. Comes from the Mount Crushmore when you include Will Smith and Teoscar Hernandez and some of the positive moments from Max Muncy, right? But you need length out of that lineup, because right now the 7, 8, and 9 hitters, they have combined to hit 192. That's 28 out of 30 in the show. A 63 weighted runs created plus. That's also one of the worst in the sport. A 24.9 strikeout rate. They're on base. They're slugging. It's 27 out of 30. So the bottom of the lineup has not gotten it done. James Outman hasn't done enough. You've seen Chris Taylor, the struggles he's had. Gavin Lux has started to turn the corner, and I like what I'm seeing from Gavin Lux right now. But having Miguel Vargas, having Andy Pages, who's starting to slump, but we talked about how that's a necessary part of the process of becoming a big leaguer. And we'll see if he can make his way out of that slump, which I absolutely think he will. And then Jason Hayward, someone who understands situational hitting, a veteran that can put the ball in play, that can get you sack flies, that can take his walks, and then also occasionally run into one. 15 home runs last season. So I'm excited about the Dodgers addressing the bottom of this lineup and trying to infuse it with some more talent and some more hitterish guys that have had better success this season. And then look, the book's not closed on James Outman, because Miguel Vargas is a good example. He should look at Miggy Vargas' success and his journey, because Miggy Vargas, he was done after the All-Star break, and then he takes full advantage of AAA, gets back on track, has a really good start to this season, and just like that, he's getting another opportunity. So just because you're sent down to AAA once does not mean that it's over, right? And Miguel Vargas is someone that he's getting an opportunity. And look, you understood why they did it last year. From May 28th to the All-Star break, Miggy Varg went 12 for 93. So he was on a 12 for 93 skid. He was hitting 129 in 32 games. And then also he was grading out as the worst defensive second baseman in the sport. He was a -7 in outs above average, a -5 in defensive runs saved. So I'm very excited to see what Miguel Vargas can do, where he's playing a position that he's more comfortable at, that he's gotten more reps at. And I think that it's just something that's very encouraging that they're addressing the bottom of that lineup early on here. We got Ken, $4.99. Shout out to that super chat. The MLB has become a farm system for elbow surgeons. That's funny. That's a fire take. Yeah, we're going to get into that in a little bit. We'll talk about that right here. But that is the nature of the beast in Major League Baseball. Basically, there's a 1 in 3 chance that you're going to go down with Tommy John surgery, where you're going to suffer a serious elbow injury. And when I see the reports of pitchers going down and pitchers needing season-ending surgery, at this point, I almost want to see reporters and pieces that have the opposite, where you have headlines saying, oh, X pitcher does not feel any soreness. X pitcher is healthy. X pitcher is not getting Tommy John surgery. That's almost more news than when they are having surgery, right? Tom Verducci, one of the best MLB writers in the game, he wrote a piece recently, and he was talking about Greg Maddux. And Greg Maddux, throughout his entire illustrious first ballot Hall of Fame career, on my Mount Rushmore for my favorite pitchers, shout out to TBS in the early 2000s, late 90s, right? And Greg Maddux went on the IL once. What was it for? It was for his back. Shout out to Greg Maddux, right, Donio?
So many great memories watching TBS in those Braves games.
Dodgers legend.
Oh yeah, that's right. Same with David Wells and Ricky Henderson.
Ricky Henderson, exactly. I mean, they all end up here at some point. So we'll get into that, but let me know down below in the comment section, what are your thoughts on Miguel Vargas being called up, and what do you guys think is going to be the corresponding move? I got the tweet here. Shout out to my man, Mr. Noah Cameras. It's from Francis Romero. The Dodgers are calling up Cuban infielder Miguel Vargas, 24 per sources. No word yet on whether he will be activated today or what the official move will be. So there you go. That is as up-to-date information as we have on Miggy Varg. You guys know how I feel about Miggy Varg. I think that we should have a bobblehead, fast track a bobblehead. By the way, how about this Shohei Otani bobblehead? Man, this is serious. I've never seen excitement. We're going to get into that in a little bit. But incredible. We got a $4.99 super chat. Hey, Doug, how do you feel about the new holiday in LA, Otani Day? Do you think the idea of that is a little premature? Look, forget the Otani Day. I think it's the Otani decade, okay, with the murals around town. We are witnessing quite possibly the most talented baseball player that's ever laced him up in his absolute prime, and he's on a team that's going to be contending for World Series titles. This is how it must have felt to be in Chicago in the late 80s, in the early 90s, when Michael Jordan was at his peak prime. This is how it is. That is how good Shohei Otani is at his sport. Yesterday was unfortunate. He goes 0 for 2, wasn't able to have that big moment on his bobblehead day, but let's talk about that game, and then we're going to talk about this trade in a little bit. Lots happening here on a Friday edition of Dodgers Dugout Live, because yesterday was a sight that I hadn't seen in a long time. That level of buzz for a regular season game against the Cincinnati Reds, where it was a bobblehead giveaway, and it was Shohei Otani's first bobblehead as a Dodger. And that's my first Let's Go Dodgers of the day, okay? That's my first up of the day for 3 up, 3 down. Shohei Otani had that place packed, had butts in the seats at first pitch on a freaking Thursday, okay? You just do not see that. The announced attendance was 53,527. It was the largest crowd in a major league ballpark this season. It was the largest crowd at Dodger Stadium since 2019. And it was just a really cool moment before the game. He's going out there and he's doing the first pitch ceremony with a child from UCLA's Pediatric Center that had multiple surgeries. And even before the game, he was in the interview room and Otani surprised him and you saw his eyes light up. So it was really a magical moment. And after the game, it was actually interesting to hear Otani talk about it and the memories that he was making as a Dodger. So it was really cool to see that. And originally they had actually asked him if he wanted his wife to throw at that first pitch, and then Otani had this idea to have this kid do it. So really, really special day yesterday at Dodger Stadium, and I was there early, and we're talking 3 p.m. We're talking 3 p.m. There was lines outside of Dodger Stadium. You had cars everywhere. The gates opened at 4. At 5 o'clock, you saw just so many people, and there were people right by the giveaways. They were actually trying to sell their bobbleheads right away. There were people trying to flip the ones after they had gotten it for $150 to $200. And like I said earlier, there was 1,750 of these that were actually gray that are now going on eBay for over $1,000. So I got the white one, and today I'm going to go get some gray paint and a paintbrush. You can paint this gray for me, Antonio?
Yeah, I'll take like 5 minutes.
5 minutes, and then we could sell this bad boy. I feel bad for the person that was like the 40,001 person, like the very last person that didn't get one, because these are hot on the streets, man. I'm telling you, this is a PS5 when it first came out. This is the new pair of like Travis Scott Jordans. This is a Furby, right? This is a Tickle Me Elmo. This is a in demand, the most sought after bobblehead, and we're probably not going to be giving this one away, but maybe we'll do some Otani bobblehead giveaways once we get more of them. But it was, if you guys went, let me know how it went, because thankfully a lot of people got a bobblehead. A lot of people have a great night, but unfortunately the team did not. And look, this is a team that's still having a ton of success. They're on a 13 game stretch, no days off. You still had your ace on the mound in Tyler Glasnow, who just wasn't spotting that fastball, did not have that curveball command that makes him elite. And you had a bullpen game for the Reds, and it worked out for them. But to me, the big takeaway yesterday was Elly Da La Cruz. Elly Da La Cruz was absolutely outstanding. We know how great Shohei Otani is as a player, but Elly Da La Cruz is one of those physical specimens, one of those generational talents that it doesn't matter if you're a fan of the Reds, you admire from afar. And yesterday, he went absolutely berserk. He stole 4 bases, was caught once later in the game by Austin Barnes. It was a really nice throw. Here's the clip of that.
De La Cruz trying for stolen base number 5. He ain't gonna get it.
Bam! Barnesy says no. Out. Reds ahead 4-0.
So really nice throw, really nice tag there by Mookie Betts. But if you look at it again, you'll see there was a delayed steal attempt, right? If he's just going, if he's flying, he's getting that jump, he's going to go 5 for 5 there. And adding a 5th stolen base in a major league game, that's just absurd talent. But he had 4 steals yesterday in the game that matched a career high. He also reached base 5 times. He had 3 singles. He had a double and a walk. So it wasn't just the stolen bases. He impacted the game on so many different levels. And it was the first time that the Dodgers had allowed 4 stolen bases since 2009. 2009, who was it? It was Jason Worth, Dodgers legend. He swiped 4 bags when the Dodgers faced the Phillies on May 12, 2009. I remember that day. That's when he had the stolen base cycle, right? He stole the stolen base cycle right there. But yeah, Elly Da La Cruz, he was insane. He was fantastic. I mean, he's living up to the hype. We saw all the hype last season. He came in onto the scene. He was great. Then he struggled a little bit. Then he picked it up. But so far this year, he's been great. And after the game, he reaffirmed his love for Los Angeles. I mean, I don't know who loves Los Angeles more. Is it Randy Newman or is it Elly Da La Cruz? Because I'm pretty sure it's a tie at this point. Elly Da La Cruz absolutely loves LA, and here was him after the game.
You already know. This is my city, though.
Why do you feel that this is your city?
I mean, my first time in U.S. was here in LA. And also, I play a lot of GTA when I was a little kid, and I like the city. And that's what I say. That's my city. When I was a little kid, I used to say I was born in LA. Yeah, this is my city, though.
What is it about playing this Los Angeles Dodgers team for you?
That's my city. This is my city. Yeah, I say last year. LA, that's my city. It's my city, though. And I like playing against. I like playing in LA.
What is it about this place that you play really well and up your game?
Oh, that's because this is my city. You already know. This is my city, though.
Listen to this man. It's his city. He loves LA, and the numbers prove that. He's been fantastic in his career against the Dodgers, and you saw it on display once again. Elly Da La Cruz loves playing at Dodger Stadium, loves playing in LA, and he's actually the first player this season to steal 30 bases, and he's the first player to have at least 30 swipe bags in their team's first 44 games since Kenny Lofton did it in 1996. So he's had a ton of success at Dodger Stadium. He's had a ton of success against the Dodgers. I had a lot of people tagging me last night saying, oh, future Dodger, future Dodger. Nando390 says, this ain't his city. He's not a Dodger. Trade for him tonight, says Larry Scott. Justin Lamas, Elly Da La Cruz agent is Scott Boras. Yeah, I mean, if it's a Boras guy, he's going to get his bag, but he's someone that is going to be a very highly paid player if his career continues on this trajectory. But for people saying the Dodgers should trade for him, for people saying he's a future Dodger, slow down. He's not going to be a free agent until after the 2029 season. Had he finished in one of the top rookie of the year voting last year, he would have been available sooner than that. But if you're the Cincinnati Reds, why on earth would you trade a player that has Hall of Fame talent? And I don't throw that out lightly, right? Less than 400 people that have played this game are enshrined in Cooperstown. He has Hall of Fame talent, and you saw it on display. It was fun to watch. My question is, one, why wasn't Tyler Glasnow kind of changing the rhythms a little bit? You saw every time that he was looking over there, coming set, they had his cadence down. And then two, not very many attempts at a pitch out when you knew it was obvious that he was going to be running. And then 3, if you are the Dodgers, it felt like, yes, he gets to second, but it feels like there was not enough effort when he was going to third. Are you just going to give him third base like that? So as great as he is, I don't think that the Dodgers did their best collectively as far as holding runners. And Tyler Glasnow is someone who's going to have a slow delivery to the plate. That's just how he is. But still, you have to recognize that the offense, they're not producing right. And Elly Da La Cruz is someone that can absolutely change the game. If you walk Elly Da La Cruz, it's like giving up a triple, right? Because he's ending up all the way at third base. And yeah, I thought he was phenomenal. A really, really fun player to watch. And he's going to put himself in a position to get a really big bag one day. And we know the Dodgers are in need of a long-term solution at shortstop, but it ain't going to be Elly Da La Cruz. I don't care if you call Cincinnati and you say, hey, here are our top 7 prospects, our top 10 prospects. When you look at all that team control, when you look at the potential that he has, when you look at the fact that he's really one of only a couple of players in this league at this point that are really top tier box office, right? The Ronald Acuna Jr. types, the Aaron Judge types, the Bryce Harper types, the Mookie Betts types, right? I think that Freddie Freeman and Bobby Witt Jr. and some of those guys, you're in that mix too. But I think that there's some players that just have that magnetic energy, that magnetism towards them. He certainly is one of the bright stars of this game. I think Otani's in his own tier, though, by the way. Otani is in his own tier. But Elly Da La Cruz, he's only 22 years old, 9 home runs already, a 150 weighted runs created plus. His future is bright. I mean, when he comes to town, when he comes to his favorite town, LA, he lands and then the plane lands 10 minutes later. I mean, that's how fast this guy is. An absolute lightning rod on the base pass. But coming up next, the Dodgers have acquired a left-handed reliever. We're breaking it down next here on Dodgers Dugout Live. What up, Dodgers Nation? D-Mac here. I'm here to remind you that if you have not yet, be sure to subscribe to the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel for all latest Dodgers news, rumors, hype videos, interviews, breakdowns, live streams, and more all year long. Hit that subscribe button, hit that notification bell, and if you really want to help the channel out, smash that like button. Also, you will not be eligible for any of our giveaways unless you are subscribed to the channel. So all you need to do to be eligible for all of our giveaways is just make sure that you are subscribed. We just gave away a brand new authentic Mookie Betts jersey valued at over $350. And we got tons of giveaways coming this offseason. So be sure to be subscribed so you are eligible to win. And as always, think blue, bleed blue, and please subscribe. And welcome back to Dodgers Dugout Live here, a Friday edition of the show. Lots of stuff going on. We broke down earlier. Miguel Vargas is being called up. Emmett Sheehan, he's out for the season. We'll talk about that in a second. But we've got 2 breaking news stories. First, the Vargas, and then also earlier this morning, we learned that the Dodgers have acquired a left-handed reliever from the Cleveland Guardians, Anthony Banda. And who the Dodgers give to the Guardians? Well, it was your best friend, cash consideration. So cash considerations in exchange for Anthony Banda. And the first big takeaway from this is that he's not on Cleveland's 40-man roster. So the Dodgers do not have to add him to their roster. They can stash him, they can use him as depth, and they can worry about a corresponding move later if guys go down or he impresses to the point that they want to bring him up and put him on the big league roster. And some other things you know about him: he's 30 years old. He signed a minor league deal with the Cleveland Guardians back in January, and he's been pitching extremely well for their AAA affiliate. He's thrown over 17 innings in 12 appearances. He's posted a 2.12 ERA, and in that stretch, he's striking out 37.9% of the batters that he's faced. So a 37.9% strikeout rate. He's allowed a 9.1% walk rate. He has a 67.9% ground ball rate. So that's really good. Those numbers are really good. If you can strike out almost 40% of the batters you're facing, if you can limit walks to under 10%, when you consider that you have a strikeout rate of 37.9% and you're keeping the ball on the ground, that's going to play in the show. The question I have, though, is those numbers are extremely up from the numbers we've seen from him for his entire career. And for the last 3 years, we'll use that as a sample size. Last 3 years, In 67 1/3 innings of big league action, he's posted a 5.48 ERA, a 21.1% strikeout rate, a 9.6 walk rate. So the walk rate is consistent from his AAA work this year to his big league action the last 3 years. He's also, you look at those minor league innings, 126 1/3 innings down to minor league level in the last 3 years, and he's posting ERA close to 7 at 6.91. And the strikeout rate is at 20.9%. The walk rate consistent at 9.7%. So the walk rate has been the same, but the strikeout rate has jumped from 20.9% at the minor league level in the last 3 seasons to this season going all the way up to 37.9%. So if we get a chance to talk to him, we're going to ask him about the big jump in his strikeout numbers, because it's definitely a major leap, especially when you look at his age, him being 30. So makes you wonder if he's changed anything with his pitch mix. The velocity, I'm assuming, is somewhere consistent to where he's been throughout his career. But one thing you want to point out too, when you look at his minor league struggles and that inflated ERA at 6.91, his BABIP number was at 345. So his batting average on balls in play sat at 345. Big league average, minor league average is near 300. And then you look at the strand rate on balls in play. I mean, 51.7% strand rate. I mean, so the strand rate at 50%, around that number, the BABIP at 345. That says bad luck. So he's had some bad luck, hasn't had the best amount of success, but hey, look, what you're getting here is you're getting depth. And the Dodgers know that when it comes to Major League Baseball, with the injuries continuing to rise, that you just want to have as much pitching depth as you possibly can. And I guarantee you I can predict what happened. I mean, I can tell you what happened. They saw that strikeout rate. They saw how effective he was. And they said, you know what? Let's take a flyer on that. Let's get him into our system so we can look at him with our own eyes and see what he can bring. Because if you look at his Baseball Savant page, I mean, in 2023, he averaged 95.3 on that four-seam fastball. Opponents were hitting it. He gave up a 316 batting average on that heater. But you're looking at a guy who throws a four-seam changeup slider mix, and that's a pitch mix that this organization definitely covets. So let me know down below in the comment section. I see that comment threw me off right here. Let me know down below in the comment section, though, is the trade for Anthony Banda something, nothing, or everything? Do you think that it could be something? Because, look, what did you say about Evan Phillips a couple years ago? Most people said nothing, and he turned himself into one of the best relievers in the sport. So what I always say is there's no one random in this organization. If they bring you into this organization, they think that you can help this team. They see the upside. They see you as a depth piece. You need minor league depth. You need major league depth, and he could certainly bring that. Justin Lamas says something. We got a $1.99 super chat from Swelling Sausage. Give you a little comment of the show for that. Hi, tell Roberts to try to pitch out. Damn, yeah, I see a lot of you guys down below talking about a little pitch out action, and they were able to get Elly later in the game. We'll check it out one more time. And you see right there, they make the tag. He's just a lightning rod, man. This is Usain Bolt on the base pass, man. This is someone who's just extremely, extremely fast. He's very, very tough to get out. And sometimes a pitch out here and there, it's kind of old school at this point, right, Antonio? You don't really see too many pitch outs.
I don't think I've seen one for like the past 2 years, 2 seasons, right?
That could be a t-shirt. Bring back the pitch out.
Bring back the pitch out.
Bring back the pitch out. For sure, for sure. We got Scar Maze, Barnes throwing out Elly 20% of the time, every time. That's a fire take. Denny Cortez, is Miggy playing tonight? We just have the information that he's being called up. We don't even know what the corresponding move is going to be. As soon as we do, we'll have it on our social media channels. Check on Twitter, check on Instagram. Maybe we'll go live again if we get some more big-time moves. Maybe Jason Hayward is back today. Maybe they make a move on Chris Taylor. So this has really been looked at as the day where you were going to get some roster movement, and we certainly have something big with Miguel Vargas, who, if you're an everyday viewer of this show, we made the case for Miguel Vargas 2 days ago. Then we doubled down yesterday that Miguel Vargas is the guy that deserves his opportunity. And you guys know Miguel Vargas, I think he's going to make the most of it. Coach Dante 24. What's the injury update on Ryan Brazier, Evan Phillips, Bruce Gratterall, Kyle Hurst, Joe Kelly, Bobby Miller, Dustin May, Clayton Kershaw, and Jason Hayward? That's a lot right there, but we'll kind of unpack this one. Ryan Brazier is going to be out for quite some time. Ryan Brazier is probably going to miss a month. I mean, I think the latest with him after the calf strain situation is that it's going to take a minute. Evan Phillips, I think, could be back as soon as this week. He hurt his hamstring in kind of a freak, fluky situation where his pants got caught on his cleat. Brusdar Graterol is still dealing with the shoulder inflammation. And right now, when I hear that shoulder inflammation, it really scares me because shoulder inflammation has turned into Tommy John for some of these guys and makes you kind of wonder too. I mean, just thinking about it this morning with the increased rate of surgeries and Tommy John surgeries is how good the imaging has gotten for this stuff, where you almost wonder back in the day, if the imaging wasn't as good, they'd probably just be like, all right, man, let's shoot this player up and go out there and give me 275 innings, right? It's just the imaging is so good, and they know that you got to get these guys back to 100%. The only way to do that is through surgery. But back in late April, Dave Roberts said that Brusdar stopped his throwing program because of lingering soreness. So that's never a good sign. I think that at this point with Brusdar, I am cautiously optimistic that he'll come back and help this team. Remember how good he was last season, a 1.20 ERA, had his breakout year in the pen, but I'm almost going to view it as a found money kind of icing on the cake, cherry on top thing for this bullpen. I don't think that if you're the Dodgers, you can make any assumptions for some of these guys that have been out. Kyle Hurt, the same thing. He was placed onto the 60-day. They moved him to the 60-day with shoulder inflammation. Joe Kelly is always an interesting one because we've seen him throughout the years kind of downplay his injuries at times, and Joe Kelly kind of always misses time. I don't think he's pitched more than 40 innings in like the last 5 years, and he was placed on the 15-day IL with a right shoulder strain. So thankfully it's a strain and not shoulder inflammation. I think for him, you're going to get him back sooner than later. Bobby Miller is another guy that I think that's a positive. I'll give the Let's Go Dodgers to that. Bobby Miller is making strides. Bobby Miller, he was sent out on, it was April 10th, I want to say top of my head, with that shoulder inflammation as well. But the good news, I was at Dodger Stadium. I was talking to people about Bobby Miller, and things are definitely trending in the right direction. He pitched in 2 simulated games in Arizona on Wednesday. So the next step for Bobby Miller is to get that rehab start and start that rehab process. So as soon as you get that rehab assignment, then you can start feeling good about the return of Bobby Miller. Dustin May, you're looking at after the All-Star game, possibly sometime in September. I talked to him at the gala. Me and Antonio talked to him. He was feeling good. I told Dustin May that we're going to get Dustin Mania back this season, and he smiled. He laughed. It feels like he's going to come back. Ella Shiva Jones says she loves my shirt. Hey, this is the All-Star Game version of the Rain Spoon. This is one of my crown jewels. Definitely tough to get for sure. Not as tough as his bobblehead, though, that much. And then same with Clayton Kershaw. I think you'll see Kershaw back sooner than Dustin May. And then Jason Hayward, we could see him back in the lineup against the Reds, and that's my assumption. He had 2 rehab games with OKC, went 0 for 6. But something tells me that we're going to get some Jason Hayward news very, very shortly. But sticking on the topic of injuries, we got some really bad news. Emmett Sheehan. Emmett Sheehan is going to miss the remainder of the 2024 season. He's going to miss a good chunk of the 2025 season. Maybe towards the All-Star break, you'll see him back. But it's unfortunate because just a little rewind on Emmett Sheehan. Heading into this season, he was the guy that everyone thought was going to be the number 5 starter while Walker Buehler was going to be out. I was cautioning everyone when I said, you can't rely on him as your number 5. I looked at him as a weapon with that explosive fastball, with his nasty stuff. I was hoping to see him more as a mix and match type of pitcher, using short bursts during certain stretches, but then give him his 5 innings every now and then, right? And if you look at the year he had in 2023, he posted a 4.92 ERA, a 3.50 expected ERA in 13 games, 11 starts, had 64 punchouts in 60 1/3 innings. And unfortunately, early on in spring, if you remember, he was pitching against Shohei Otani in a live BP session, and he was really, really amped up. The adrenaline was flying, and after that, it looked like it was going to be nothing major. But he ends up going out during spring training, and they were describing it as body soreness. And then that evolved into shoulder soreness. And that's when I started to get concerned because he opened the season on the IL, and then it went from forearm inflammation. So, I mean, it goes from forearm inflammation to shoulder inflammation to soreness. So, you name it, he had it when it came to the diagnosis. So, you always have to take the information from the team when it comes to injuries with a grain of salt, because to their, I mean, like they should, they don't want to show anything, right? They want to keep everything close to the vest. But when he started the year on the injured list with that right forearm inflammation, that's when I started to get really, really concerned. And then he was moved to the 60-day IL. That's when we knew, okay, this is more serious. So there's that. I mean, you look at, like we point out the injuries right now, Brusdar Graterol, 60-day IL, shoulder inflammation. So this shoulder inflammation thing is extremely concerning because we've seen shoulder inflammation turn it down to forearm soreness, which turns into Tommy John surgery. So anytime you see a pitcher like Emmett Sheehan go from the 15-day IL all the way to the 60, all the way to season-ending surgery, it's definitely a concern because originally the pain was originating in his shoulder, and then Tommy John surgery, that's elbow surgery, right? So yeah, it's unfortunate. And look, baseball has an injury problem. Make no mistake about it. Baseball has an injury problem, and it's only getting worse. And I think I've talked about it on this show a couple of different times. It starts in Little League. It starts at the youth level. I think the first thing you need to do, first thing you need to focus on as a baseball community is maybe let's not have these young pitchers try to max out on spin rate, trying to max out on velocity. Maybe we don't do that. Maybe we don't have pitchers playing year-round baseball. Maybe you take a season off and play another sport, develop another part of athleticism, another part of the body, and then take some of that wear and tear off that arm. And I think for me, that really is where this is stemming from. At the youth level, baseball pitching, high spin rates, high velocity, it's really starting to take its toll. You got to let these guys be little leaguers, man. Let these guys be youth baseball players. If your kid is elite, he's going to get a scholarship. He's going to get his opportunity to pitch in the show. And clearly we're in the velo revolution, and that's why this is happening. Max velo, max effort, max spin rate. And yesterday, what did we talk about on the show? What did we talk about on the show? We talked about the idea of adding a Justin Verlander, of adding another pitcher, right? This is why. It can happen so quickly. Major League Baseball comes at you so fast, right? Just like that. Blink of an eye, this guy goes down. Blink of an eye, that guy goes down. And it looks like a season of Squid Game on Netflix where you're losing someone every single game, every single week, every single month. And then you're in need of elite starting pitching, and there's only 10 to 20 of those guys on the planet that can get it done at the highest level. So don't tell me the Dodgers don't need more pitching. They showed you today with a depth piece trade of Banda that they need more pitching, and you can never have enough starting pitching. But let's go into the comments here. Let's hit some seventh inning stretch. I'm going to focus the rest of the show on all of your comments for the rest of the way. We got Pablo Ramos, Los Angeles Dodgers, home of the Tommy John surgeries. Bro. Gustavo Moreno, do you think Miggy going to try to get number 17 from Otani? That's a fire take. I mean, maybe he'll get him a Ford Focus instead of a Porsche. You know what I mean? He's not making big time money, so maybe a little Ford Focus. Elishiva Jones, Dodgers, Hawaiian shirt night this Monday. Yeah, it's going to be, I got to go, man. Yeah, I got to be there Monday. You know, we're not supposed to wear Dodgers gear when you come as media, but David E. felt like De La Cruz was auditioning. Look, finish it. That's a fire take. So you win. I would love Elly De La Cruz. I mean, he loves Los Angeles. Perfect. He loves GTA, but that's a pipe dream. Okay, I would love to have that's a pipe dream, but someday maybe, but that won't be anytime soon. Vargy gonna rake. That's from Timothy. Hey, Vargy, I'm so excited for him to get his opportunity. I really, really am. We've seen some success with Pages. He's in a little bit of a slump, and we saw the life that Pages gave to this offense, to this team. I think Vargas can provide that spark as well and really ignite the group, because last night, I mean, these guys are tired. They're on a long stretch of games. Like I said, 13 straight games, but still, I think anytime you get young guys back, it just excites the veterans. I mean, these guys are playing what seems like every single day, right? Every single day. And to go out there and give these guys another opportunity to prove they belong, it's going to be special. You guys know, like, I'm the biggest Miguel Vargas fan. I mean, who is Miguel Vargas? For the blind, he's the vision. For the hungry, he's the chef. For the thirsty, he's the water. If Vargas thinks, I agree. If Vargas speaks, I'm listening. If Vargas has one fan, it is me. If Vargas has no fans, I don't exist. Okay? That is how... No, I'm just playing. You guys know I'm just playing. I root for all these guys. We got Elly Jones. Happy birthday this Sunday to Dodger minor leaguer Peyton Martin. Absolutely, Peyton Martin really climbing up the ranks. Fire take. We got Johnny Owen. What's happening to our pitchers? Why is it always Tommy John surgery? Michael Hurst. Dodgers will never win a championship with 6 guys struggling to hit 200. Yeah, we talked about that earlier in the show. They're 7, 8, 9 hitters. I mean, that group collectively, they're ranked towards the bottom in essentially every single offensive category. So you need Pages to continue what he's doing. You need Gavin Lux to continue what he's doing. I think if you look at these young guys that are down there in the order, I almost wish I was batting ninth, because if you're batting ninth, you have the opportunity to get on base, turn over this lineup, and score a lot of runs because you got Mookie and Otani and Freddie and Will Smith following you, right? And you're going to get great pitches to hit. You're going to see strikes. So whoever is right there towards the bottom, you are going to get protected. So I think these guys have a great opportunity to really take advantage of that and just infuse their careers with some life early on, because you have that. Now, Mark Chavez, Kershaw before May, that would be my guess for sure. Borat Otani is, and not even just a guess. I mean, that's pretty much the plan right now. Kershaw's after the All-Star break. I think May's more sometime in September. Otani is strong like a bear, fast like a fox, and cute like a dog. It's a bro and a fire take. Okay. Robert Sadler, Dodgers forever. Banda, a good get. Go Miggy V. Fire take right there. Fire take right there. We got Vargas deserves another chance. Craig Osterberg, absolutely. Vargas, Frasso, Cartaya for Arozarena. Robert sent down for Miggy. What? Come on now. To finish him. Did Elly really expect to score runs last night, starting Outman, CT3, and Barnes? That's from W. Basley. Look, I saw people out there freaking out about this lineup because it was Otani Day. Guys, it's one game out of 162. You still had the MV3 in the lineup. You still had your ace on the mound. So I don't want to get too worked up about that. But yeah, I see people down below asking about Yeen. So we'll talk about that, but let's do some more comments here. Would you put May on the playoff roster if he's getting back in September? So it depends on how he pitches, right? I mean, we saw last year when he came back up against the Marlins, or a couple years ago against the Marlins, he looked really, really good. And then we didn't even see him on the roster against the Padres. He was dealing with a back injury. Then last season, I mean, when he's on the mound, he's filthy. That's really the big thing with Dustin May. When he's on the field, he's nasty. He's nastier than a gas station bathroom, but he has to stay healthy, and he needs an opportunity. But Reynaldo Yeen, if you don't know that name, go get a piece of paper, get a pen, text it to yourself, do whatever you have to do, but you have to know this guy's name, because we're talking about a Dodgers 20-year-old minor league pitcher that's throwing 104-mile-per-hour gas.
Yeen from the belt, 0-2 on the way, fastball at 104. Heyo, fouled back. It's still 0-2. 104. What video game is this?
Yeah, look at Beer Sama says he's nastier than an Echo Park bathroom stall. It's a fire take. But how about that? I love the broadcaster for Rancho. This guy, let's go run it back. This is so good.
Yeen from the belt.
Yeen from the belt.
Way. Fastball at 104. Heyo, fouled back. It's still 0-2. 104. What video game is this?
Oh, I love that guy. I love that guy. What video game is he from? So, look, I mean, I like what Justin Lama says. He's the Dominican Mason Miller. This is someone who pumps gas. He's just 20 years old. He's from Sabana Grande de Boya in the Dominican Republic. He signed a minor league deal with the Dodgers back on July 5th, 2021. And not now, but sooner than later, right? He's not coming up this year, most likely, and becoming a big part of this bullpen. But when you got gas like that, when you got the big slider like that, that's going to play. So keep your eyes on Reynaldo Yin. And just anytime you see him on Twitter, anytime you see him on any of the YouTube highlights, take close notice. Go back and watch him pitch in the Quakes 5-2 win over the Inland Empire 66ers. I mean, he's dealing, man. That's serious, serious gas. In fact, if you look at, this is from Rob Hill. He tweeted out, since 2015, only 7 pitchers have thrown a pitch 104 plus miles per hour. Jordan Hicks, Johan Duran, Aroldis Chapman, Ryan Helsley, Camilo Duvall, Hunter Green, and, you guess it, Reynaldo Yin. So take notice. Memorize that name because he, if he stays healthy, is going to be a big factor for the Dodgers at some point in the future. But a couple walk-off shots right here. I'll let you guys enjoy your Friday. We got the Otani bobblehead right here, the white one. We didn't get the gray one, so Noel, our social media guru superstar, is going to keep his hair. So he was going to shave his hair off if I got the gray one. But Raleigh Alvarez says, Outman and Chris Taylor, goodbye, hand waving. Hi, DMAC, greetings from Finland. Great show. Thanks, Dog. Appreciate you, my man, Dog WTR, over on YouTube. Joel Rodriguez, I'm tired of these fragile gas throwers. Just start throwing knuckleballs until we get to October. I like that take. I like that. I don't agree with it, but I like it. You know what I mean? It's like one of those. Beer Sama, he reminds me a little bit of Aroldis Chapman and the way he throws. BT Fouts. So, what do we do with this guy? Bring him up, include him in a nice trade package. What do you think, DMAC? I think you continue to let him cook. I think you continue to develop him and see what he can become because he needs more seasoning. He needs more development. But that raw talent, it's out of this world. 104 miles per hour. That is world-class gas. Ellis Shiva Jones, when does Phillips return from the IL? It's going to be soon. It's going to be soon. I wouldn't be surprised to see it at the end of this series, potentially. We got Bilal Ken. The eye test seems to clearly say that Freeman and Smith may average just over 20 home runs this year, but their on-base percentage are respectable. Yeah, no doubt about it. I mean, their power numbers aren't going to blow you away, but you get the hard contact, you get the doubles. Freddie last season had 59 doubles, 29 home runs. But calling up Vargas and Hayward coming on a pending roster move, if that happens, I'm taking my victory lap, by the way, because that's what I said on this show. So that's what they were going to do. So that's going to do it, guys. If you haven't yet, comment Go Tani. We're giving away the 95K jersey. We're getting very close. The #1 Dodgers show on YouTube, the #1 Dodgers YouTube channel. And who's that thanks to? It's thanks to you, the best fans in the game. DMAC's #1 fan. How long do you think the CTK3 leash is? It doesn't seem like it's very long. He's already getting limited action. But how about this? He got a hit yesterday. So got to give him some credit for getting a hit. It is happening. Have they announced it? Did they? I'll look on that, and maybe we'll do another show a little later. But post-game show later, always rock with your Dodgers. I'm going to be going to the stadium, but I'm going to do a post-game show as well. Thank you to DMAC Chargers fan. Go Otani. 100K giveaway is Otani's bobblehead. Beer Sama, we're working on our 100K giveaway. It's going to be a lot bigger than that. It's going to be worth like 5, 10, 15 of these bobbleheads at least. But hey, thanks, DMAC. You always keep us posted. Yeah, go Tani, go Tani. That's going to do it for super producer Mr. Tonio Taters. Antonio, we'll see you guys Monday. See a post-game show after the show. If you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, also follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. And remember, nothing brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Ayo.